you're not able to offer something that is a massive competitive differentiator, if maybe it's not something you're passionate about, it's not something that is a strength, then you're going to integrate a lot of complexity in your law firm for a very, very small return. I'm Michael Mogill, founder and CEO of Crisp, the nation's #1 law firm growth company. I've built my business through practice, not theory. Crisp started with just $500 to my name and has grown to over 8 figures in revenue over the last few years, earning a spot on the Inc. 500 list of the fastest growing private companies in America. Our approach has been to take everything we've learned about generating massive growth within our own organization and help the country's most ambitious and committed law firm owners do the same for theirs. In each episode of this podcast, I sit down with innovative market leaders from the legal industry and beyond to learn from those who thrive in the face of adversity, challenge the status quo, and define what it means to be a true game changer.
This is Jessica, Head of Coaching Strategy at Crisp, and today we're flipping the script for another special edition episode to get Michael's take on why narrowing your focus can actually unlock faster growth, why trying to be everything to everyone will hold you back, and how saying no to the wrong opportunities is what creates space for the right ones. As you're growing, of course you're going to say yes to everything. But then later on, I think your level of focus is really defined by what you say no to, because when you're saying yes to someone, you're saying no to something else, and it's realizing that. That's coming up on the Game Changing Attorney podcast. Here we are, yet again, another AMMA.
Another one. All right, I'm excited for this, Jessica. I know sometimes we got some little thought starter that we do at the start of these, but this time I think we're going to jump right in. And if you're tuning in to the AMMA, which is, I guess, Ask Michael Mogill anything, and you can ask Jessica anything you want as well. You guys submit the questions, Jessica compiles them, we answer them here on the show, and you can text us at 404-531-7691 with your question. We also do other types of episodes on this podcast, like the traditional interview style format, where we bring on experts in the legal industry and beyond, ask them questions. You guys know what a podcast is. And then the encore editions, where we bring back some of our most popular episodes back here on the show. And you may notice something, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, is that we do not run any ads on this podcast, which means that we can say, and our guests can say whatever they want, unfiltered, without being beholden to any sponsors or advertisers. All that we ask, and we keep this podcast free, it's not free to produce, but it is free for you to listen to, is that if you get any sort of value from this podcast, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and that helps us reach more people and help more leaders and law firm owners across the country. And I hear now we got like 1 million listeners, which is amazing. We just celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the podcast, 300 plus episodes over the last 5 years. It's been a journey. Here's to the next 5 years. Jessica, what questions do we have this week?
All right. So let's get started with question number 1. I need some advice. There's a DUI attorney in my market who's half my age but making twice my income because he only handles DUIs, nothing else. Meanwhile, I'm grinding away doing full-service criminal defense. I've been doing this for 15 years, but this kid with 5 years of experience is everywhere. Billboards, radio, social media. I'm questioning everything about my approach now. I'm wondering if I've been doing it all wrong. Should I abandon my broader practice to copy his narrow focus?
It's interesting, the takeaways from this situation. And because in this scenario, you believe that you have a broader criminal defense practice, and it sounds like this younger attorney is solely focused on DUI, and you believe that that is why he is beating you and is earning twice the income and is half the years of experience, or like, anyway. It could be, but more than likely, it's another piece of the question you just asked where you say he is everywhere. Social media, TV, radio, billboards. And no matter how successful you are, and no matter how experienced you are, this is like an unfortunate truth that we literally founded this company on. It is the best cases do not go to the best attorneys. They go to the best marketers. I don't like it either. I've never liked it. That's why we started the company, to help attorneys who were not these massive advertisers that couldn't compete with the large traditional advertisers have a fighting chance. Attorneys who cared deeply about their clients and their communities and wanted to help people. That's why we started Crisp. It was a realization that no matter how great you are, you may be the best kept secret. If somebody is, your competition is everywhere, and every time you pull out your phone, they're on social media, and every time they drive by a billboard, it's their billboard, and you hear them on the radio, and they're always on TV, then they're going to have a greater level of penetration within your market. And that has nothing to do with their level of experience. It just has to do with their ability to get attention and get known. So rather than trying to niche down, which, I mean, it could be helpful because I think it could help in terms of like focusing a marketing message, I would look at it's less about you niching down or focusing in a particular area in this case, and more about how are you competing for, with them for attention, and how are you differentiating and standing out. And we've done several podcasts on this. You can check other AMMAs on this. We have a book that we've written on this. It's called The Game Changing Attorney. It is on Amazon. If you want the first chapter, you can go to gamechangingattorney.com and you get the first chapter for free. But it is a book literally created to answer this very question. And this could be like a 5-hour podcast getting into every aspect of this. But the short of it is that I would first address how are you getting attention and how are you getting out in front of your prospective clients, because they may be focusing solely on DUI, and depending on the value of those cases they're getting, I don't know, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 each. If you're doing complex criminal defense cases, like you could exceed them on case value, but maybe there's a difference in volume. It's not as simple as saying, should I like focus in on my practice area in this case? And especially when you're like working on two different variables. So one is, let's say they're marketing everywhere and you're not, and I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just basing it on the question. And then two, one has a niche focus and the other doesn't. So they're doing two things right, and you may be doing 0 things right. So I would address those things first and ensure that you can get attention first and figure out a way to stand out and differentiate from them, because you do have the experience. I would say that that is something that can help you stand out and win, but only if people know about it and if they can know what the difference is between you and another lawyer. And when they come to you, they know why they should hire you and not your competition. But if they never even see you, then they're not even differentiating between your competitor and you. All they see is your competitor.
Yeah, they don't even know you exist.
Correct. Solve for that first.
All right. Question number 2. Michael, I've built a successful PI practice in our market where we've become the go-to firm for complex injury cases. I know we're the best at what we do and I want to grow, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. My initial thought was to expand into family and criminal law, since many of my clients also have those cases. What would you do?
To answer this one, I'm going to pull out my phone, and only the people who are watching this on YouTube, I guess, will be able to see it. But Jessica, I got this special
Oh, the girls
case.
love this phone.
It is, you can tell them, this is, it's grass. I got a turf grass phone case. We recently did the turf grass at Crisp HQ because I didn't want to deal with any sort of like landscaping, lawn maintenance whatsoever. And I'm like, let's just make it turf, and it was going to look great year round. And then I had the landscapers outside give me some of that grass, and I put it on my phone. I'm just kidding. But
ads worked.
The point is, and you're like, why is he talking about his phone? Is that the grass always seems greener somewhere else. You hit him with the dad joke.
Did not know where that was
Everybody
going.
always wants to be some other practice area. Like if you're PI, you're like, oh, I'd love to be criminal defense. And and the criminal defense guys see the PI verdicts and they're like, oh, I'd love to be a PI lawyer, right? And PI just criminal defense for their cash flow. And they're like, oh yeah, their guys pay up front. So here's what I would say. Our general rule, and I say this having worked with 1,100 law firms in every practice area, in every market area that you can imagine, is that until the practice is at least at 8 figures, meaning that 10 million plus, you should not consider diversifying into another practice area. So meaning that you want to hit a point of saturation to where usually you diversify because this represents like you've either maxed out what you're able to do and you start diversifying in terms of expanding into a new market area or expanding into another practice area in your existing market area. But I don't recommend this until you're at least 10 million plus in revenue for your existing practice area. Because if you introduce, let's say, 2 practice areas, right? You have PI and then criminal as well. If you introduce that, think about the case management, think about the process associated with managing those cases, think about the different types of attorneys you now have to manage. Like they're just different. You're going to introduce complexity into your law firm. Whereas right now you can be focused and dialed in on the niche type of cases you take on, which are serious injury cases,
right,
which are like very desirable, right? And think, have you maximized what you can accomplish there and how you're able to grow and scale, focusing on that niche area? Because like I said, even with the previous question, is that when you have a singular marketing message, it's much easier to amplify that, and it's much easier to stand out and differentiate versus, you can say, hey, we're the go-to serious injury lawyers in our market area, as opposed to saying, hey, you know what, we are the go-to serious injury and criminal defense lawyers and family law practice, and we'll handle business litigation for you, and we'll do estate planning if you like, right? We'll also handle some divorce law for you. And you think, hey, but I'm addressing every market segment. And I'm like, our clients have multiple needs, right? But when you're for everyone, you're not like seen as the go-to for serious injuries anymore. And that's your competitive advantage right now. So I would say don't even think about it until you're 10 million plus in revenue. And then even if you do, maybe you look at it from the standpoint of, hey, maybe we got to expand our market of just surrounding counties, that sort of thing, expanding our footprint in terms of how we reach more people before integrating another practice area. Because if you're not able to offer something that is a massive competitive differentiator, if maybe it's not something you're passionate about, it's not something that is a strength, then you're going to integrate a lot of complexity in your law firm for a very, very small return. And when I've seen firms do this, especially do this too early, they'll see like 90% or maybe 95% of revenue coming from the main practice area, and then they've got 5% revenue, maybe 50% headache coming from the other practice area. So it just comes down to, do you want to introduce all those headaches for what could be a very marginal increase in revenue, as opposed to scaling what is working?
And focus. All right. Question number 3. Hey, Michael, your podcast has been eye-opening. I made the leap last year to specialize exclusively in family law after being a general practice for years. The business is thriving now, but I'm struggling with turning away longtime clients who still call me for everything. After years of being the attorney everyone counted on for any issue, saying, I don't handle that anymore, feels almost wrong, like I'm abandoning people who trust me. How did you get comfortable with saying no?
Well, you can say yes, and you can just go back to where you were. That is always an option. But I think it's the reality of it is, it sounds like you have dialed in your focus and the firm has grown exponentially and is thriving now. Why do you think that is? Because you're no longer doing the whole like squirrel, right? Of just having to figure out, how do I approach this very fragmented, diversified like practice area of doing like full service everything. And now you have a very narrow niche focus, but then your clients are coming to you and saying, hey, we missed the way you were. You used to be able to help us out with this, X, Y, and Z. You don't want to say, nope, I can't do that anymore, because you also don't want to burn that relationship. And these are people that relied on you at some point, and people that you served. So there are ways in which you can handle that. I mean, first and foremost, you can find some really great referral partners, people that you trust that are going to take great care of your clients and refer them to them. Have a good talk track with that, of saying, hey, I no longer focus on these types of cases. So, so we're able to fully focus on serving our clients in these areas, X, Y, and Z. But I would love to be able to continue to help you. And as a result, there's this great lawyer that we work with and we partner with who handles exactly what your needs are. And even serving many of our clients in this particular area, you're going to be in amazing hands. Let me introduce you to them. Okay, sounds great. And then you check in and you follow up. You can still send them Christmas cards. You can still send them things on their birthday, Hanukkah, any holiday that is important to you and is important to them. Right? You see what I did there?
I do.
Okay.
I do. You're hitting both.
We got to address all. But you can still provide value to someone without you having to work with them directly. Just be helpful. Look at it that way. And they say, no, but I really wanted you. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's so much true. I think they just really want their problem solved. And if they can have it solved in the same level of care and attention, maybe even greater care and attention they were getting with you, they're going to thank you for that later on. So the power of no, what is the saying? Like, no is a complete sentence. And as you ascend in terms of like your levels of personal development and success and growing your practice, early on, it's like, say yes to everything. Say yes to every single opportunity you possibly can. I mean, I remember when we started Crisp, we were saying yes to anything and everything, any video, right? We would film beef jerky outlets, soccer tournaments, bar mitzvahs, monks, anything. Yes. And today we say no to everything unless it is filming for a law firm owner and a law firm like practice, because that's where our focus is. We only work with law firms. We don't work with other professional services. We don't work with any other like audiences, industries, verticals, etc. Like, it is strictly working with lawyers and law firm owners. As you're growing, of course, you're going to say yes to everything. But then later on, I think your level of focus is really defined by what you say no to. Because when you're saying yes to someone, you're saying no to something else. And it's realizing that, right? So but when you say no, you're prioritizing where your focus is and really where your vision is. And if you're very clear on that in terms of the practice you want to build, then saying no becomes easy, but you don't have to say no. You can say, unfortunately, this is not an area that we focus on because of X, Y, and Z, but you're going to be in great hands with this person. It's like, hey, are you available for this networking event with us? No. See, that could be abrasive. That could offend someone. They could make them uncomfortable.
It could sound like our daughters.
But if somebody said, hey, are you available to go to this networking event? Say, unfortunately, I'm not able to make it because it's important that I'm with my daughters. We're going to the ballet recital. See, oh, damn, got him. Objection handled that, my friend.
Yeah.
So with that, just realize no is a complete sentence, but you can always say yes if you want to go back to where you came from and you want to take a few steps backwards. That is always an option for you. And the best part is you get to choose.
The power to choose.
That's right, P2C.
All right, until next time.
All right, see ya.
You've been listening to the Game Changing Attorney podcast with Michael Mogill. If you found this episode valuable, here are 3 free ways that we can help you grow your law firm. Number 1, download the first chapter of Michael's book absolutely free at gamechangingattorney.com. Number 2, you can shoot Michael a text at 404-531-7691 and ask him any question you'd like. You might just hear the answer on the next episode. And finally, number 3, if you can leave this podcast a 5-star review, it will help us gain access to more influential thought leaders and bring their lessons learned here to you. For more information on this episode, see the show notes in your podcast app or visit legalpodcast.com.